Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for very much. Thank you very much for coming in. Welcome to one and all. It's about 3:57, and we'll start in another 3 minutes time from now. Thank you very much for joining in. A lot of new faces and a lot of faces that have previously come in. A warm welcome to all of you. Thank you again for coming in. I know you had an opportunity for something else, but you decided to spend the time here. So really appreciate. Give it a couple of minutes and then we start. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's roll. If anybody tells me that the last 4 months was not difficult and it was very easy, it was all hunky-dory, I'm sorry, I would want to refuse. All of us know that the last 4 months was extremely difficult. But that doesn't mean that our next 4 months or 5 months or 4 years or 5 years should be difficult. Today, I think all of us should be happy for one reason, that we have survived. We have survived, our lives have survived, our businesses have survived the COVID era. And now is the time to plan that what do I do going forward? The world has changed, life has changed, and it has changed permanently. Because the reason for doing a business is not that I will live forever. We all know that someday we will all go. But the fact is that, do we want to leave behind a business which will outlive us and do something to our businesses for a long, long time to come? Are we looking at today, tomorrow, day after? Or are we looking at some kind of perpetuity? What are we doing with our lives? So the entire focus today is, while we have had difficult times, while we had times which is now turning for the better, how do we take advantage of all this as we go forward? A quick background about who we are. We are world's #1 business coaching company. ActionCOACH is world's #1 business coaching company. It was set up by Brad Sugars way back in 1994. He's today an entrepreneur and not only runs ActionCOACH, but does other businesses as well. He's an author, and there are plenty of books of his that are available on Amazon, worth reading, worth having it on our libraries. 2,000 coaching offices, 76 countries worldwide. But the important part is that we are not here to teach you business. We are here to help you achieve your goals faster. If somebody comes and tells me I can help Nupur with how to run her medical devices business better, or how to help, or how to teach Mr. Shetty how to run his IT business better, I think we are wrong. Somewhere there's a mismatch. They know their businesses much better than all of us put together. Are we ready to learn how to achieve our goals faster? That's all that we are doing. If you have a 3-year goal, if you have a 3-year roadmap, can you by working with Action bring it down to 1.5 years? We coach businesses, 15,000 businesses across multiple countries every week. And in India, we have been there for about now last 11 years. And we must have done close to 1,000 businesses, transformed them, and helped them gain that abundance. Who am I? I don't want to dwell too much into who am I, but I started my professional career after my post-graduation in 1991, worked in multiple companies across multiple geographies, and then 7 years back, decided to quit my professional journey and start my entrepreneurial journey. And today I have 4 businesses. One is Beyond Red Ocean Consulting, which is primarily in the coaching and training space. We have Quinton, which is in the infection control space. We have Hired Desk, which is in the executive search space. And we have, as a Bengali, we have a cloud kitchen concept called as Paid Pore. I also teach in multiple business schools around Bombay, Delhi, Dubai. Right. My primary focus as an individual is with Beyond Red Ocean. I have a partner who runs Quinton, a partner who runs HDMS, and a partner who runs Paid Pore. So that's how my business and my life is structured. Why are we here for? It was March when one day our governments told us that from tomorrow we will have a shutdown. We will have a nationwide shutdown. And all that we could do is pick up our stuff, computers, papers, phones, data, and we closed the locks, shut the locks, locked our offices, and we went home and slowly started working from home. Today, we are on the verge of reopening. Some of the companies have already reopened, partially, fully, some on the verge of reopening. And today we have to think, how are we going to reopen effectively? Reopening is going to be much tougher than closing, ladies and gentlemen, because we need to rethink about how we are going to do our businesses. We have to reinvent our business processes, and we need to reopen. It is not open, it has to be reopened in a new world. In the month of March, when we were doing our webinars, we had said that there will be 3 runways. A runway for survival, which according to us at that point in time was about 90 days, which is extended slightly about a month and a half, more than 90 days, about 45 days, more than 90 days. Then would come the runway for revival, which would run between 90 to 120 days, about 3 to 4 months. And then we would get into the thriving phase. So when we talk in terms of the revival phase today where we are in, and I would like to sincerely congratulate all of you who have passed through that survival phase. We have not been unscathed, we have been scathed. Let's be honest about it. We have lost money. We have lost opportunities. Our mental health has taken a beating. Our family's mental health has taken a beating. In some of our families, we had to have the COVID the virus coming and hitting us also. We had to face all those, but today we have overcome. So let's congratulate all of us. Let's say a big thank you to the universe for allowing us to be where we are today. But today the point is that we now need to look at what next. Nature gave us that time of 3 months, 3 to 4 months window to relook within us and to say, what are the things that we need to do? How do I need to revive business once it starts? What are those new opportunities that have emerged? Because we are so much entrenched in the business and running it on a day-to-day basis that somewhere down the line, we have forgotten to look for opportunities. We are only managing the existing opportunities. And we are losing stuff. We are losing things. Now it's also the time to revisit our product portfolio. Do we actually need that kind of product portfolio? What if I were to start the business anew today? Would I have this product portfolio? Or am I so embraced with that product portfolio that I don't want to let it go? That I don't want it to go? I want to hold on to every little product that I have. But now is the time, ladies and gentlemen, to look at that. To look at that product portfolio. What do I need to shed? What has outlived itself? What has passed through the decline curve? And what are those products which are the future stars of the business? Where do I need to reinvest? What is that external opportunity out there? And what are the products that I need to bring it into my system? What are all those things that I need to do? So these are the 3 things which are introspections that I hope we guys have done or are doing. Because if you have not done, you still have about 20 days to go. Because I believe, and as Action believes, 1st September we will reopen big time, and then we will all be running around. And I don't want all of us to run around like a headless chicken. Let's look at all these. What are the things that we should have done also by now? We should have looked at the talent. What is the kind of talent that I will require for my new business? If I can't hire them, can I get them as a consultant? Maybe I don't have the money to hire them full time, but let me get them as a consultant. What are those processes that I need to look at? What are the systems that I need to look at? Because most of our businesses are driven by hard work, and we are not process driven. So let's look at what are the systems and processes that I need to implement to transform my business. What are my new customer opportunities that are coming up? What are the new markets that I should look? What are the new geographies that I should look? How do I deleverage my risks? Because every single day you will have risks coming up. If you look at the past, say 20 odd years, 25 years, right from end of 1990s, you had a challenge, you had a crisis coming every 4 or 5 years. You had the dot-com bust, you had the terror attack in US, you had the subprime crisis, you had the demonetization, we had the GST, and now pandemic. And someone who tells me that in the next 3-4 years there will be no crisis coming up, I refuse to believe. So we should be now looking at how do I keep on deleveraging my risks? And finally, how am I rebuilding my reserves? Because this reserves will take me into that rapid growth in the next phase. What are those things that I need to do? We have lost money. We need to recover that money at the cost of not buying stuff that is not immediately required, at the cost of not investing, at the cost of continuing with my cost-cutting structures. I need to build my reserves. This is what will stand me in good stead when I go into the next level. Having said that, I need to now also plan for my thriving. Somebody other day told me, sir, we will think about it when we come to that bridge. I said, if you think about it, start thinking about it when you come to that bridge. Look at the amount of time that you will spend in the planning process, and look at the amount of time you will lose. So ladies and gentlemen, I want you to now start thinking about how will my business look 2 years from now? How will my business look in FY23? How will my business look in FY24? Do I need to reset my vision and mission based on the change of environmental conditions? India will be a land of opportunity. Let's not make a mistake about it. We will be in a land of opportunity. The question is, will we be ready to leverage on that land of opportunity? For too long, we have lived from today to tomorrow. I'm suggesting, ladies and gentlemen, to live a much longer life and to think of all those opportunities that will give you that exponential growth. And to think of all those team members who are going to help you achieve that exponential growth. And what will your investments entail when you start on the runway for thriving? And how do you manage your finances till then? What are you going to do about it? Please, let's not start planning when the need arises. Let's keep our plans ready. Plans can there can be iterations in our plans, but let's not look at a planning from a different aspect. And hence, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to dream big, because your entire planning has to be that big dream, that 10x growth that I will see for my organization going forward. How will I look at that dream? For that, I need to look at where am I now? What is the revenue that my business is generating today? What's the kind of house that I'm living? What is the kind of car am I driving? What are the investments that I have made? What are my future holiday plans? What is the today? And what is that 5 years from now going to look like? What size of business will I have? How much revenue will I have in my business? What is the kind of house that I will live in? What's the kind of location I will live in? All of us have those aspirations. Our families have our aspirations. We have our aspirations, both in terms of the materialistic gains and the social gains. So what kind of houses will I live in? What kind of cars will I drive? What are the investments that I will be making? How many holidays would me and my family would have taken? And how is my family enjoying their lives? Ladies and gentlemen, all the first 6 parameters, the arrow should go up. Everything should go up, except the last point. Your time involvement in this business should come down, not in all the businesses put together. Your time in this business should come down significantly. If you're working 60 hours a week currently, in 5 years from now, can you look at targeting 40 hours in a week? How are you going to run that business? So dream big. So when you're planning for the runway for thriving, this should be that big dream that you should look at. And for that, you should look at your entrepreneur journey. But this is a very interesting journey that we need to look at depth, because we keep on going up and down. So we started as a student, which is the -1 level according to us, because we're paying to get knowledge. And we complete that student period and we become an employee, we take up a job. And at that level, we call ourselves zero. We call ourselves zero because we're building our experiences. And then something happens during that stage. We have a fight with our bosses, or our passions overpower us. And we said that we want to become an self-employed. We want to start our own business. And when we start our own business, all of us have to go through the seesaw. One day I'm selling, and the second day I'm making. One day I'm doing business development, second day I'm looking at production planning. We are all on that seesaw. And life is tough, but life is moving forward, and we start making a certain amount of money. And at that point in time, we think we need people with us. The challenge today is that globally, you can become a CA. Some institute will train you how to become a CA. Somebody will train you to become a doctor. Somebody will train you to become a CS. But there is no one who teaches you how to become an entrepreneur. And when no one teaches you how to become an entrepreneur, no one has taught you how to hire the right people. And because there is a limitation on cash as well, you typically end up hiring not so high quality people. And when you end up having not so high quality people, these people, instead of putting out the fires, they put on the fire. And now you are running across the mulberry tree, putting off fires put on by your team members. And one day we become so frustrated, and we say, why do you need a team? Why do you need people who are not supporting your business, who are supporting you or who are only forcing you to get into the firefighting mode? So we had made the transition from 1 to 2, and now come back into 1. And that's where we spend most of our time, rest of the time of our lives, in going up between 1 and 2. We really don't become 3, where we give strategic directions to the organization. We're still running the business on a day-to-day basis. We certainly don't become a 4, and we certainly don't become a 5. Most business owners, SMEs and MSMEs globally don't become entrepreneurs. They love calling them entrepreneurs, but the fact is that most of them are self-employed. So let's think about your business. Is your business driving you? Excuse me. Is your business driving you, or are you driving your business? Can you take a 6-month holiday? Can you take a 6-month holiday, go to any place, to Bahamas, without your phones or without your laptops, and come back and find a rocking business? If you can't, ladies and gentlemen, then you don't own a business. You own a job in your business. You're self-employed in your own business. Many people have told me, sir, forget about 6 months. We can't even go for a month. I understand the tragedy. And it's because of our way of working that we have not been able to make that transition. I'm not saying you can do it in the first year of business, you can do it in the second year of business, but within a certain definite time frame, you should be having a business where it does not depend on you completely. You don't have to be in that business completely. You go out to that business out of choice, and you don't get into what we call the entrepreneur's conundrum. Because as a business owner, you're so technically competent, you have such great knowledge that you can see and smell opportunity from a distance. You are the hardest working in your organization. You work for 12, 15, 20 hours a day. As a result, you have no time for self and family. Stress levels are highest. Health concerns coming up. And the interesting piece is we are not making any money. Our employees are enjoying their 30 days. Our employees are having time with their families. We don't have anything of that sort, and we are not making money. Is this the life that you had envisaged? Is this the life you had envisaged when you decided to give up your job and get into a business? If yes, then I'm sorry, I'm not going to add any value into your life. But if no, this is not the life that you had envisaged, then is it not better either to change or to go back into an employment? Who said we are trees? We are not trees. We have not grown any roots. If something within us or what we are doing is not working, why can't we shift? Why can't we change? We have no roots. That is what we want to address going forward. That how do you come out of that entrepreneur's conundrum, not only now, but forever? Now is the difficult time. So are we willing to make those tactical shifts into how to become that entrepreneur? Because we want you to focus upon Action's definition of a successful business. Commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. I'm not saying please don't do charity. If you want to do charity, and all of us should do charity because social obligation is one of the obligations we have, please do that. Please do that. By all means, please do that. But don't treat this as a charitable organization. This is not a place for people to come and spend 8 hours of their day and not be productive. Let charity be separate. Let this be separate. Now, the interesting piece is that as Action, we believe that not only forever, but currently, it's a fantastic time to be in business. We think it's actually a great time to be in business if you are smart and if you are willing to pivot, if you're willing to make that mindset. If you constantly think in the past that COVID has taken away everything, COVID has taken away a great business, COVID has done this and COVID has done that, then this is not for you. But if you think that there is life and there is opportunity ahead, then the next few slides are actually what should drive you. We believe this is a fantastic time for 5 reasons, and I'll give you for those 5 reasons. The first, market dynamics is changing. The pace is more rapid than ever before, especially for people like us who were born in the 60s and grew up in the 70s and educated in the 80s and started working in the 90s. This pace is something that is very different from what we had seen in the past. We're not used to this kind of fast pace, but currently, especially now, in this era, the pace is humongous. But with that pace, opportunities are coming up. Opportunities that were not there are coming up. Are we ready to take advantage of these opportunities? I had this coaching client of mine. She had a furniture business, or she has a furniture business. We're planning for the business, and come March, this happens. So overnight, we looked at how do you pivot? And she started making hospital furniture. Now, the beauty of that hospital furniture is they came under the category of essential goods. So their factory was not shut down. Not that they made a lot of money. No, they did not make. I'm being honest, I'm being transparent. They did not make a lot of money from that business. But what they did was they covered their fixed costs. So today, when I look at their cash flows, the cash flows has not taken a hit. It has not grown. The profits have not grown significantly, but the cash flows have not taken a hit. Their resources have not reduced. And because their resources have not reduced, when September comes, they're ready to move on to that next level. But for that, we need to have that nimble movement. We need to be agile, and our minds need to be very, 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 very adaptable, because the opportunities are there. Second, this is the lowest cost structure ever to run a business because the world is virtual. No one is actually carrying our office or shop or showroom. I'm not talking about the manufacturing unit, that needs to be there. But who cares what office do you have? Who cares what is your office infrastructure? You're doing everything on Zoom or call. You don't even have to go and meet people. Your time and your cost of commute has come down significantly. Your team's cost of commute and costs have come down significantly. Now, there is a lot of saving in your business that has happened. What are you doing with that saving? Are you looking at that as saving, or are you looking at how do I implement that saving in my marketing, in my marketing activities? There's a time that is coming when there will be no geographic limitations. People don't care where you're operating from. Yes, today there is a challenge with travel and transportation, but that will go away. So there will be no geographic limitations, and you can sell anything to anyone. Are we ready for that? Are we looking at how to take advantage of that? Third, marketing is much easier than ever before. You don't need a marketing budget. You don't have those events coming up. You don't have to participate in exhibitions. You don't even have to go for the networking meets. You don't have to go. You don't have to make those visits to customer, where a customer is not willing to meet you. So you don't actually need a large marketing budget. But what about your website? Are you updating your website on a regular basis? What about your YouTube? Are you uploading videos on your YouTube, technical videos? Are you marketing those technical videos, 2-3 minute videos? Are you posting everything on anything on Facebook? Are you posting on LinkedIn? You look at any of my social media, and keep on posting, and there will be people who will come and tell you that, Mr. Malloy, you're overdoing it. I don't mind some people coming and telling me you're overdoing it, because I need to be there when my customer is looking for me, because today I don't know when my customer is looking for me. But the funny part is I don't need a lot of money. I can use it with the cheapest methods available. And these are not only cheaper, you can toggle by testing and measuring regularly. You can decide to start and stop if they're not working, and those money stops. You have committed for an advertisement, you have committed. That money is a sunk cost, even if there is no outcome of it. Here in digital media, it's not there. So you don't need a large marketing budget. So please, whatever you do, don't cut down on your marketing, because you don't need marketing budgets. The fourth is, not everyone of your competitors is as smart as you. If you're smarter than them, you will realize that many of them don't know. They're actually moving around like headless chicken. Some are closing down, some are struggling. They're not sure when and how they should open. They're losing both money and customers. So actually, if you look at your industry, there's a good possibility that the number of people who are actually competing in your market are coming down. It is slowly becoming a non-compete market. Not 100% non-compete, it will never become a non-compete, but the number of those fringe players are coming down. And if you are smart, if you are planned, if you have those pivoting ideas, if you have the mindset, if you know where to use your marketing, you can take great advantage of the situation. And the fifth, probably the best, is that there are great employees who are available at discount. Their remunerations are way below the January levels. Somebody whom you couldn't afford in January, he's affordable now. And these are great people. They've lost their jobs mostly for not their fault, because organizations have closed down, downsizing has happened, a lot of things that have happened. When I'm hiring people for my clients, I get to see so much talent who are hungry for good work. Build your team. Great time to go and hire great people and build your team. Because not only these people will contribute to your growth, but these are the people who will stay with you, for the longer run, the longer haul, because there will be a certain loyalty with them because you supported them when they needed it the most. So 5 great reasons why it's not a bad time to be in business. Actually, it's a good time. But when you're planning the reopening, what do you need to do? What are those 5 things that you need to do? If September 1 is the D-Day that you're looking for when you're starting, the first thing is rebuild your team, which we spoke about. Your existing team. Give them the confidence. A lot of your employees are forcing themselves to come to work for you. Not because they don't want to work for you, but because they're still uncertain about the external environment. That their mindsets are not those powerful mindsets which can handle COVID. Because most of it is mindset. How are you giving them that comfort? How are you giving them that comfort of not only welcoming them, but also demonstrating all the disinfectant safety measures that you're taking in an organization? Please treat this as period as when you are hiring somebody fresh. What would you do to them? Treat every employee as a new employee. So when they're coming to you, you give them time, you give them comfort, you help them settle down in your organization. And then they start performing. Also remember, productivity will take a hit. It was March when productivity was very high and you're driving people, February, March. Then all of a sudden shutdown happens. When shutdown happens, people lock up and go home. Everyone is struggling to establish their work from home culture. Over time, that settles in and people's productivity increase. Currently, people might be working the hardest. Now, when people are working the hardest, there is now the major change that is happening of people now coming back to the workplace. Now, when people come back to that workplace, you have to give yourself 2 to 3 weeks for that dip in productivity. So please be aware of these situations. Second, think of that day when you started, not restarted the business, the starting of that business. Think of that day when you started 5 years back, 10 years back, 15 years back. You started. It was an exciting phase of our life. Think of that day, about that excitement. Today, we need to build that excitement into our lives. Today, we have overcome COVID. Today, we have overcome a lot of turmoil. Today, we have to celebrate that today is the time that I am celebrating my reopening. So I need to build up that excitement. I need to announce everything. Think of all those things that we did when we were opening. You're announcing, you're telling people I'm opening on such and such day. Now is the time to go back into that. So call out team members. Lily, looking forward to seeing you in the front office. Alex, looking forward to seeing you here in the sales. Mr. XYZ, waiting to see you. 4 months we have not met. Mr. Customer, I'm coming. Mr. Competitor, congratulations. You are also opening. We are also opening. Let's do it big time. Announce everything. Because we need to bring positivity into the system. There's too much of negativity, ladies and gentlemen. There's a positivity. It has to come in. There has to be an abundance of positivity. Having done these two things, the third is the slightly difficult part, which is not the so exciting part. This is your read on your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's the bottom line. Today, you have to make a lot of decisions, which will either make or cost. If you make the right decision, you leapfrog. If you make the wrong decision, you fall back by miles. So you need to know every single number. What is your cash flow? What is your P&L? What is your weekly break even? To the extent, what is your daily break even? Monitor, monitor, monitor. These are the three words that you have to remember. Every single thing has to be monitored. We have all taken certain amount of government money. Not that we accept and like everything that has been done for the SME sector, but that aside, there has been monetary benefits that we have taken, either extension of loans or extension of working capitals or moratoriums or whatever. Use that money wisely. Because cash in hand is still suggested. We have not come out of the woods totally. We have not come out of the tunnel totally. We can see the end of the tunnel, but we still don't know the depth of that tunnel. So we need to figure out how do we take it forward. But these planning processes have to be looked at. So when you're restarting, you have to look at every single piece of data. Unfortunately, business owners don't like looking at data, especially the monetary data, and we'll talk about it more. Fourth, rethink your sales and marketing plan. Your customers have changed. We have changed. The world has changed. So what are all the things that I need to do in our sales and marketing? I hope we guys had a sales plan and a marketing plan before the lockdown. Have we reworked on them? What are the new things that we are looking at? What are my different customer segments? What are my different product categories? How am I going to promote to them? Most organizations tell me, sir, we don't sell, customers buy from us. Customer sends an inquiry and we cater to that inquiry. Are you an organization which is doing the same, or are you an organization which is selling? If you're an organization which is selling, if you're not selling, please have a sales strategy in place. Because you cannot survive if you can't sell. You may have the best product, best service, best everything, but if you don't sell, you will not survive. So every single day, think about how am I selling? For that, I need to have a marketing plan, and not one-page marketing plan, but our marketing plan looks at about a 24-page document. Right? Segmentation, targeting, communication, how do I reach my customer? What is my database? Look at all those things that you can do. And the fifth thing is rewrite your plans. It is said that going into a business without a business plan is going to a mountain trek without a GPS. You will eventually get lost and stuff. And many businesses, ladies and gentlemen, have gone through the same thing because they don't have a business plan. When I ask them for a business plan, they tell me, sir, one page. Well, one-page business plan. Itna sale karna hai, this is my cost and this is my profit. That's not a business plan. Let's look at the market. Let's look at what are the strengths and opportunities available to us. What are our threats? What are our weaknesses? What is competition doing? What is my staggering into my market? What are all those things that I will do? What's a 5-year business plan? Don't do a 5-year business plan. Can we have a 1-year business plan? Can we have this fiscal business plan? Without a business plan, how are you going to build your structure? Any building that is built has a blueprint. How can my business not have a blueprint? Now break down that business plan into 90 days. So the 90-day game for surviving has gone. So what is your 90-day plan for thriving? What are all those things that you will do? When we coach our clients, we break down our 90-day plan into weekly plans, and we follow the weekly plans. Because reopening is going to be harder than closing, ladies and gentlemen, and we cannot afford to make mistakes. We also need to build in exigencies. We also need to build in a certain amount of pessimism. Because like I said, the depth of the tunnel is still not known. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And for heaven's sake, get help. And not at the cost of promoting myself or Action Coach, but you need help. If Virat Kohli needs a coach, if Barack Obama needs a coach, if whoever, Roger Federer needs a coach, get somebody to help you. Get somebody to whom you're accountable to. Otherwise, we get lost. We have so many things. We are the loneliest people on planet. The business owners are the loneliest people on planet. There's nobody helping them, holding their hand. So whether it's me or whether it's any other Action Coach or whether it's any other coach that you have whom you trust and who you know knows his job, get hold of him, get help. Because you need help right now. Because once you have done these, once you have addressed those five reasons for being in business, once you've worked on those five to-do things to rewrite your, to reopen, then you can look at the 6 steps of results. This is where our entire Action Coach Foundation is, and I'm not getting into each level in detail, but remember that you have to cross the first 4 level if you want to be called as at least a business owner, if not an entrepreneur. So what are the first 4 levels? The first is mastery, which is chaos to control. And first amongst them is money. Most business owners, unfortunately, don't act as business owners. They're acting like employees. They have no knowledge about their numbers. They have no knowledge or very, very little knowledge about what their cash flows are, what are their margins, what are their inventories. Very little knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm not generalizing it, I'm sure a lot of you know about it, but when I look at the wider world, very few people are having a clue about these numbers. So what is your inventory costs? What are your margins per product? What is your break even? What are the industry benchmarks? Am I higher than industry or am I lower than industry? Where are we? We need to look at them at length. A lot of people tell me when I ask them this question, how are you going to increase your your business? They say by increasing sales, by focusing on sales. Now I want you to look at these 4 elements. What is the performance of your account receivables over the past 3 years? Forget FY20. Look at FY17, 18, 19. Has your account receivables gone up or gone down? Invariably, it has gone up. And the reason for it, ladies and gentlemen, is sheer laziness and chalta hai attitude. If I was collecting my money in the past at say 60 days or 45 days, why have we allowed it to go up to 90 days in an average? We need to focus on them. We need to look at our inventory holding costs. Because we don't have a sales forecast, no wonder we don't have control on our inventory. And our inventory is always increasing and no one is taking action against it. Our cash gaps are increasing. Our administration expenses are increasing. Yes, administration expenses will increase, but are we evaluating whether all the administration expenses that we have is contributing to increase in sales or retention of customer? Because if you're not focusing on this, ladies and gentlemen, and you're focusing on sales, unfortunately, what you're doing is putting a larger pressure on your bottom line. on your cash flows. You're trying to build a 25-floor structure on a foundation which can take only 5 floors. One day it will crash. One day you may have the pleasure of running a 100 crore business, but there will be cash that will not be there. Somebody told me the other day that, Malloy, our entire cash is stuck either in account receivable or in inventory. We don't get to see cash. The reason for this, ladies and gentlemen, is we are focusing on sales. But sales for us as Action is only vanity. What is the reality is cash. How much cash do I have? Not even the profit. How much cash am I making at the end of the business? Businesses run on cash. You may have profit, you may have sales, but if you don't have cash, how are you going to manage your working capital? So please look at the number game. There is still an opportunity for you, 20 days to look at all those pieces. Then let's look at the sales and marketing. Do we have plans, written down plans in place? Do we have a business plan for the next 5 years? And like I said, if you don't have for 5 years, make for 1 year. If not for 1 year, make it for this fiscal, not a one-pager. Do we have a marketing plan for the next 3 years, or at least for this fiscal? How can you go and sell? How can you have a communication budget if you don't have a marketing plan? How do you know how many salespeople are required? What is the productivity per salesperson? I was talking to a company the other day, and they said, we have 10 salespeople. I said, what do? They said, they all come to the office in the morning and wait for inquiries. When there's an inquiry, they go. No wonder their conversion of salesperson to of inquiry to salesperson is 1.7 in a regular business. Not a very high-flying business where one would be considered as very high. So yes, there is range, but you cannot have your sales team coming and sitting in your office and waiting. What is your rolling 12-month sales forecast? Many organizations don't even have that. No wonder that inventory costs go up, because my sales forecast is not there. And there's no focusing on whatever terminology you may use, warm leads, cold leads, prospects, whatever terminology you may use. I use prospects, leads, suspects, prospects. In the reverse way, PSL, prospect, suspect, leads. What's your sales funnel looking like? Who is monitoring them? How are you classifying your customer? All of us do ABCD. Sorry, that should read as D. ABCD. C standing for can't deal with. A is awesome, B is basic, C can't deal with, and B is dead. And if you look around us, many of us are focusing on the C customers who have been there for a long time, but who have survived, whose lifetime is probably over. They keep on pushing us. They ask for this, they give smaller orders, but they ask for larger credit periods. They ask for immediate delivery, and they're pushing you every single day. And in the midst, we forget about that A customer who's supporting you, who's not asking too many questions, who's supporting you, and we don't focus on him. So where is my customer focus? Is it on A, B, C, or D? Are we doing that? Do we have customer classification? Do we have a clean database? What is my customer acquisition cost? We are running after customers every single day. What is my customer acquisition cost? Do we know if I'm spending 25,000 rupees on a customer acquisition cost, do I have a return of 2,50,000 or 25 lakhs from that customer? What is the lifetime value of that customer? How much money can he give to me over his lifetime? What are the lead generation strategies that I have? I ask people, how many lead generation strategy you have? I said, sir, 2. Now, is 2 a good enough strategy? Or you should have more? We as Action, we say 10. And many of them don't even convert, don't even have the conversion rates in place. We don't even know what my marketing ROIs are. We keep on spending. Last year itna kiya tha, is saal bhi itna karega. So we do that. Ladies and gentlemen, you still have time, but time is running out. Before we get into the sprint before we get into the full-time operations. Please get these things done. If you have not done, if you have done it, fantastic, congratulations. But if you have not done any one of them, please do it. Otherwise, our entire process will be like a headless chicken. The worrying part is a lot of people, a lot of business owners, in fact, think about sales and marketing as an expense. But on the other hand, sales and marketing is not an expense, it's looked upon as an investment. For every rupee out, more rupees should come in. If it's true for some businesses, why is it not true for all of us? Because we are not using the right scientific methods of sales and marketing. And I'll tell you a very interesting situation. When I ask business owners how many customers they have, they know. What is their revenue, they know. How much profit they make, they know. But if you look at these three statements, and any smart person would tell me that this is outcome. And every business runs on outcome, fantastic. But the reality is that outcomes, results, comes from actions. Now, if all of us are focusing only on the results, who is focusing on actions? And for all people who feel sales and marketing is that big mumbo jumbo and something that genie which cannot be controlled, let me tell you, sales and marketing especially is simple mathematics. And I'll show you how we simplify sales and marketing. So there are 5 statements in blue and 3 in red. If you look at the 3 of them in red, these are the outcomes that we spoke about. But as action, we are not focusing on that outcomes. We are saying, what about the actions? What are your number of leads? What are your conversion rate? What are your transactions? What are your average dollar sale? What are your profit margins? So just putting some numbers in for this business, suppose they're generating 4,000 leads at a 25% conversion rate, the customers are 1,000. And every customer buys twice, average. Some may buy once, some may buy 15 times. And everyone buys, say, at $100 average. Some buy 10 times. Somebody buys for $100, or somebody buys for $1,000, or somebody for $10, averaging out at 100. This small business has a revenue of $200,000, 25% margin, and $50,000 profit. Now let's look at what if we do something different. What if there's a 10% increase across board? Most businesses, like I said, and most businesses, maybe your business, maybe not, will have 2 to 3 different types of lead generation strategies. What if you can increase the number of lead generation strategies? We have about 82. Not all lead generation strategies for us that we have will work for you. But if we can, when we work together, if we work on your lead generation strategies and grow them over next 10 months, or sorry, 12 months by 10% into 4,400. Just a 10% increase. There's a good possibility once we focus on lead generation, these numbers will grow. Some we have seen 25% growth, but we are, for the sake of calculation, we're taking at 10%. At conversion rate of 25%. Do we know which of the leads are getting converted? Because leads come from expense, right? So there's an expense, that the money that is being spent. Do we know how, from where the conversions are coming? Like I was talking to a customer the other day, and not other day, about 3 months back, and I asked him the same question. He says, sir, 60% एक जगह पे होता है, 40% और एक जगह पे होता है. A Gujarati gentleman. I said, और conversion? बोले 60% जहाँ पे, 60% जहाँ पे, वहां से ज्यादा आता होगा. बोले measure किया आपने? बोले नहीं. बोले measure करो. After 2 weeks he comes and he says, sir, I'm willing to sack all my marketing team. I said, क्या हुआ? बोले 60% जहाँ पे देते हैं वहां से एक lead नहीं आया सर 2 साल में. सब लीड मेरा जहां पे 40% इन्वेस्ट करते हैं वहां से आ रहा है. बोले 60% फिर क्या कर रहे हो आप? And it doesn't you don't have to be intelligent to know what he did in the next 1 week. He moved that entire investment, which was going in that 60% to 40%, and his conversion rate changed. So are we measuring conversion rates? Are we focusing on conversion rates? We have about 60 odd strategies to improve your conversion rate. We can use them. Now, by doing all that, can we increase the conversion rate by 10%? Not 25 to 35%, but 25 to 27.5%. If your conversion goes up by 10%, you will have about 1,200 customers. Number of transactions. Do all my customers know all the products that I have? Do I know all the customers, first of all? Are my salespeople trained to sell? Do they have a sales script? Are we writing to all our customers once in 90 days and telling them all the products that we have? Are we reaching out to them on a regular basis? I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, by doing all this, by improving customer knowledge about our product and our product range, our existing customers, and by upskilling our salespeople, your number of transactions from each customer can go up. Now, we are not expecting it to go up by 40, 50, 100%. We are saying, can it go up by 10% over the next 12 months? And by doing all that, can my customer buy slightly more from me? If somebody from a McDonald's, where I go to buy a burger, if she tells me, sir, aapko coffee chahiye, juice chahiye, fries chahiye, kuch to chahiye, sir, aapko extra. Are our salespeople trained to do all that? If our salespeople are not trained to do all that, please train your salespeople. And we train salespeople to do all that. And by doing that, can we increase our dollar sale by 10%? Now, if you do 10% across board, across those 4 areas, ladies and gentlemen, your sales revenue is not going up by 10%, but it's going up by 46%. Because this is the power of mathematics. This is no mumbo jumbo. And any CA in this room will tell you that by increasing productivity, my profit margins will certainly grow up. And if it goes up by 10%, and on top of that, we have 60 strategies to increase our profit margins, your profit goes up by a whopping 61%. No mumbo jumbo, ladies and gentlemen, out here. It is simple mathematics. You have a potential to increase your revenue by 46%, and you have a potential to increase your profits by a humongous 61% over the next 12 months by focusing on the 5 areas. And this is what we call Action Coach's 5 ways of growing a business. By focusing on these 10% on these 5, you can achieve a 46% increase in revenue and a 61% increase in profits. You finally get to see cash, which is the second level of our journey of the 6 levels. The third level is when you get to see cash, life becomes easy, life becomes exciting, that business mein maza nahi hai is gone. Business में तो वही मजा है, आप थक नहीं गए हो अभी, अब तो business में बहुत ज़्यादा मजा आएगा. You then systemize the business. And I'm not getting into at length, we can get into one-to-one conversations for this, but there is a 9-step method for growing your business. You now need to relook at your vision and mission statement because your business is at a different level altogether. You need to set your cultural statement. What is the rules of the game that you will play the game with? What are the goals that you will have? What are the organization structures that you will have? What are the contracts that you will have? And what is the MIS that you will have? And now this is the exciting part because you're optimizing the business. You're systemizing the business. You don't have to be in the business. You go to the business out of choice, but not because someone is forcing you, because you are getting your MIS on a regular basis. People who are interested in reading about this, please read this book, Instant Systems by Brad Sugars, the founder of ActionCOACH, available on Amazon. Please read it. There are other books, everyone worth reading. Now let's think about your team. Once you have systemized the business, let's think about the team. Most employees are motivated, energetic, committed, enthusiastic, and loyal. This is not what I am saying. This is being told by Tom Peters, who is one of the world's renowned motivational speakers and a business coach. But he says, except for the 8 hours they work for you. Why are they not committed? Why don't they see the vision? Are you able to transfer the vision to them? Are you able to energize them? Are you able to motivate them on a regular basis? Do they see the big dream that you have? Do they see the 10x growth? Do they see the 100x growth that the business can have in the next 10, 15 years? Do they see the opportunities for themselves in that large organization? Please remember, they have come to build their careers, and we have to give them a reason to stay with us. Otherwise, they will go, or they will continue to be with us, with the demotivated. Have we done in the interim? Have we done the 10, 70, 20% of our team? Who are those top 10% of my winners whom I want to retain under any cost? Who are those middle 70% who do their work religiously, diligently, but nothing exceptional, but they are there? And who is that bottom 20%? Who is pulling, who's that anchor? Who's pulling the ship back? Have we identified them? Every organization has it. Have we identified them? And if you have identified them, what are we doing about them? What is the development plan they have? Or have they passed all development plans and it's time for us to part? There's no point. I don't want those outliers in my organization, which is a burden to my organization, who pulls my organization down on a day-to-day basis. So as somebody who works with businesses, we get the right people on the bus, because winning teams need those right people. So as Action, we bring in the right people on the bus, because with that right people, you now get into your zone, your freedom, your growth, because you have walked through that 4 steps of mastery, which is creating that chaos to control the niche, where we got into that 46% growth in sales and 61% growth in profits, leveraging, where we get into the 9 ways of systemizing the business. Then we get the right people in the place. Now the business actually doesn't require you. You should go into that business out of choice. But what do you do? Do you grow the business in different geographies? Do you replicate that business? Do you start doing something different? Do you become a serial entrepreneur? Do you give your time to social causes? Or do you just go and now enjoy life for a certain period of time? Choice is yours. You want to be the business? Please be in the business. But from a strategic perspective, look at that. The entrepreneur ladder. You are now at that owner stage where you're giving strategic inputs. Want to start something else? Up to you. Want to expand this into different geographies? Up to you. Want to go give your time to social causes? Up to you. Want to enjoy life? Up to you. Choice is yours. You have now got the freedom. And you have got the freedom for duplicating. Like Richard Branson says, if you learn to run one business successfully, then there is no reason you can't run any number of businesses at the same time. The principles are the same. But the point is, can you run one business successfully? Jim Rohn has made a very interesting statement. Great motivational speaker, great business consultant, passed away in the late 2009, 2010. He said, never wish your life was easier, wish you were better. Work harder on yourself. And we have seen that every 3-4 years, there's a crisis that is coming. And every 3-4 years, there will be crisis that will come. Newer competition will come, newer technology will come. Customers will get more demanding. Newer people will come. Crisis will come. So never wish that your life was easier, wish you were better, and keep on working on yourself on a day-to-day basis. Because ladies and gentlemen, this is where I want to stop. Dreams can and dreams do come true. But for that, you have to start thinking like an entrepreneur. You have to have that plan for the future. You have to got to change the way you're doing things now. Because if you are continue to do the things that you're doing now, you'll get the same results. But hold on to your dreams, ladies and gentlemen. You have passed through a very difficult time. You have survived that difficult time. Now is the time to leverage, to plan, to grow because the opportunities are humongous. Your dreams are real. That 5-year dream that you had made, hold on to them and grow. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where I want to stop. If there are any questions that I can address, thank you so much for all your feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nupur. Thank you, Mr. Shetty. Thank you, everyone who's been in this room for a long time. I'm making an offer to you. Anyone who wants to get into, I'm offering a 1-hour free consultation. And after that, you see value. We may talk in terms of engagement, but a no commitment 1-hour free consultation into how you can look at reviving and changing your business. For that, please, for me to make that meeting and interaction more fruitful, please fill up that Google form link that I put on the chat box. It will give me some insights about your business. And hence, when we set up that time to go and meet you or do a telecon or do a VC, we will have a much more fruitful conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations to all of you for having passed through the COVID and the uncertain times. Now is the time to prepare for that sprint. And let's all sprint together. Thank you so much. Have a great evening and a great weekend ahead.